After 5 years of call-ins, commentary, and a fair share of controversy, sports radio's top-rated morning show, WEEI's Kirk and Callahan, is no more. Co-host Kirk Minihane announced last week he was officially leaving the show to start a new national radio show, podcast, and column at radio.com. In a statement, the parent company of both EEI and Radio.com, it's Entercom, said, quote, the new platform will expand Kirk's reach to a national audience and explore wide-ranging topics in addition to sports. The WEEI morning show is being re-envisioned as a more sports-centric show consistent with the station's brand and position as Boston's sports leader. Last week, Minihane returned to the show as a guest after a nearly 2-month leave of absence to focus on his mental health. He said his departure was a result of politics and his refusal to sign a contract that would have limited the show's content the day after his new role was announced. Boston Globe's Shirley Leung wrote a piece saying it was the right move for Entercom to put Minihane elsewhere, writing, quote, listeners and advertisers who are tired of the vile commentary will thank the broadcasting behemoth for cleaning up the airwaves. Leung and others of the Globe have written several not-so-flattering pieces over the years about Kirk and Callahan. Back in February, Leung even called for an advertiser boycott after another host on the station mocked Tom Brady's agent, Don Yee, using a stereotypical Asian accent. On Saturday, Minihane announced on Twitter that he would give a $5,000 donation to any charity of Leung's choosing if she agreed to join him for a debate here on the show, which his former co-host, Jerry Callahan, promised to match for a $10,000 total. We did invite Shirley to join us, who we should note is also a GBH contributor. The Globe's response, which we received earlier today, was that Shirley was already interviewed on this topic last Friday when she spoke with Marjorie Egan and me on our radio show. But as promised, Kirk Minihane is here ahead of the start of his new role at Radio.com. Kirk, it's good to meet you. Thanks so much.
Jim, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Why is the lead man on the highest-rated sports radio show in Boston no longer there? That would be you.
Well, I think two reasons. Number one is I actually want to go to Radio.com. I'm looking forward to that. We'll get to that later on. Number two is, like I said, last Thursday or Friday, whenever I was on the show for the last time, there was just a philosophical difference between the station, Entercom, the ownership, and me regarding the Red Sox, and there was just a difference of opinion. They wanted to go one way. I didn't want to go that way. There was a piece of paper. It basically said, in essence, it basically said you can't be interesting, you can't be mean-spirited, you can't take chances, you can't rip the Red Sox, you can't rip the Boston Globe. And I said, I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to do it. And they went along and they said, you know, how about you try this new venture? And I said, okay. I was never, ever, ever going to come back under those rules.
If you signed that, you'd be back on the show?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
You're quoted in a release. Doesn't sound much like you, I have to say. Very upbeat, excited, awesome.
I don't recall that quote. I don't recall saying
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
But you appear to be much more upset about a column in the Globe, we're going to talk about in a second, than you are about an employer who, after you take a mental health leave, says you're not welcome here anymore. You got to go elsewhere.
Plenty frustrated with that, but here's the deal. I decided to sign and stay at Entercom and do the show Radio.com. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. Now, am I frustrated with the way Entercom handled me leaving the Kirk and Callahan show? Absolutely. I mean, I've been pretty open on Twitter about that. I was open on the air about that. If I was allowed back on the air, I'd talk about it. But they simply said, we don't want you to do that anymore. So they have a new show now, Mutt and Callahan, and if you like,
Two good friends of yours.
If you like, say, Mike and Mike on ESPN, your traditional sports talk show, you get sports-centric. You got it.
Speaking of that, you know that I listen to your show on my drive-in from
I know.
Cambridge.
You text me once in a
I don't
while.
tell my friends, by the way. Don't
I
worry about that.
I understand that.
For those who don't listen, or at least not for those who say they don't, but actually do.
Right.
Describe what was. It wasn't really a sports show. What was that exactly?
I would say it was, it was more like how you and I were talking before we went on the air here than the way we're going to talk on the air right now. Does that make sense?
What do we say? Were we bad-mouthing somebody?
No, just two guys talking. Yes, bad-mouthing people, doing this, doing that. I would say it's more like that than, say, I don't know, Jim and Marjorie.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, that means, it's not like pro-communist.
Oh, so exactly. Most recently, as I said, Shirley wrote that column saying that Entercom made the right choice. You tweeted 3 questions for her that she did not answer directly, 2 of which we asked her on the radio. One was why she didn't call you directly.
Yep. She gave a terrible answer to that.
Why didn't she mention
Would you agree with that? That was a
mental
terrible
health?
Answer? Well, hold on.
I will answer in a second. We asked her both. You weren't satisfied with her answer. Why not?
Well, do you think if she's going to write a story about me, which is a hit piece, whether you agree or not, we'll get to why in a second.
Yeah, okay.
She has my number. We've spoken before. If you're writing that story, do you reach out to Kirk Minihane for a comment?
You, yeah.
Okay, she didn't do that.
She didn't.
That was poor.
Here's what she said. You want to hear it for those who didn't hear it?
I listened to it.
I know, but you heard it. But the viewers didn't hear it.
She gives a terrible answer.
Here's what Shirley Leung had to say when we did ask her the question about why she didn't call Kirk Minihane on the phone when she was doing this piece.
I just felt like I needed to deal with Entercom directly rather with Kirk directly. I mean, you should check out my Twitter feed. Racist, sexist comments from followers of Kirk Minahan, not from Kirk. But I don't know who these people are, but certainly they are fans of him. Not to say that he directed them, but he certainly has unleashed trolls on me, and for months.
But what is it that puts you? I mean, you're pretty tough on people. She was pretty tough on you.
Well, the journalism itself is inaccurate. I mean, let's start right here. In her column, it's a risky move all around for Minahan, EI, and Entercom. But listeners and advertisers who are tired of vile commentary will thank the broadcasting behemoth for cleaning up the airwaves. Well, what's vile?
Well, I mean, she did.
No
but she did. Yes,
she gave me one. Aaron
she mentioned
Andrews,
Aaron Andrews thing.
4 years ago. I called Aaron Andrews a gutless bitch.
Yes, you did, and
you
apologized
thing
for
I've
it.
ever done. I've
So
fallen on the sword 5 million times.
No, I'm not saying you didn't.
Hold on.
Wait, you would agree that was vile commentary, wouldn't you?
And it has become synonymous with racist and sexist banter. So I would ask Shirley then, if you're going to call somebody a racist, if you're going to do that, would you agree that's a pretty heavy charge to lob at somebody?
Charge.
Not one example. So go ahead. I'll wait, Shirley. I'm waiting. Go ahead.
So that's
give me the example of me being racist.
That's what the $10,000. Well, let me tell you.
Racist?
How about
How would you like it if I went on the air and said Jim Braude, or I wrote in the Boston Globe, Jim Braude's a racist?
I would hate it.
Okay. And
I would totally hate it.
Are you a racist?
No, I don't
think
I am.
It doesn't provide a single example. This, by the way, is a woman. She didn't call for an advertising boycott at WEI. She participated.
No, she did.
She was an activist.
She called advertisers.
She cold-called advertisers.
Not about you, about Christian Fourier.
About WEI.
That phony Asian accent.
About WEI.
That's true.
No, not about just Christian. About WEI. This woman, with another activist, paired up, combined, and cold call people and said, if you don't advertise with these people, we're going to do this. When I talked to her on the phone, hold on. When I talked to her on the phone a few months ago, she said to me, because I tweeted out about Kevin Cullen, who I took down, I know he's helped with you guys, a guy who lied about the marathon bombing, shouldn't have a job right now. Shirley Luong said to me on the phone, I'm going to get you for that. I'm going to get you for that, and congratulations, Shirley. You won. That is as shoddy a piece of journalism as there has ever been in America. It's a takedown. It's activism.
But
shame on the Boston Globe for allowing it, and shame on Entercom for enabling it as well.
Well, when you said that's exactly what I was going to get to.
I agree
with
you.
It's not the Boston Globe and Shirley Luong. Entercom considered her charges serious enough that they shut down your station for a whole day for some sensitivity training thing, right?
Absolutely.
So they agreed with her, didn't they?
No, they're appeasing. That's appeasing. That's appeasing people, don't you think?
I don't know. I don't.
Well, in my opinion,
Entercom.
that's appeasing people. I think you're trying to play ball. But again, she teamed with an activist and did that. And she's on the air and she's writing the other day that she's glad that free speech is going to be limited. This is from a newspaper that did this hashtag free speech during the whole Trump thing, and they led this charge with all these newspapers.
Yeah, they did.
But they want to limit my ability to speak freely about something.
How do you feel?
It is so disingenuous. You know, this is a nice table. I understand. I want to vomit all over this table when I think about it.
Can you wait about 5 minutes?
It drives me absolutely nuts.
Kirk Minahan, she used the term trolls.
That is my name, yeah.
She used the term trolls, and I think, do you feel?
Is that
and
my
by the
fault?
way, she said, I said to her on the radio specifically. Well, I know, but somebody else may not have heard me. That you weren't doing it, but people who are followers of your. Do you feel? I mean, you're a pretty high-profile character.
Yes.
Do you feel any responsibility to try to rein in that stuff? Because she talked about hate mail. I've read some of this stuff, hate calls. I've heard some of that. Does that concern you?
I turned off my phone for this interview because I'm classy. I could turn it off because I took some pictures before of Boston Globe stories where the comments underneath are, I wish Minahan killed himself. I wish he'd gone through
I've read them. I've read them.
I wish he committed suicide. This is in the Globe.
I read them.
Have you heard me say that these things are happening? Am I complaining?
No, but that wasn't my question. I was asking, do you feel some sense of responsibility?
I feel no responsibility, but I think those people, if they tweet racist and vile things at Shirley, are pukes. I don't condone that.
But you don't feel you have any responsibility?
Well, here's the thing, Jim. Yes. So if she writes a story, okay, and she promotes it on social media, she tweets it out. She goes on the radio. If people are listening to that show, I don't know if
that would be my show, by the way. But thank you for
promoting the story on the radio. Hold on. If she's doing that, then you have to welcome some criticism as well. It doesn't work both ways. You can't do that, then duck and hide.
I read her criticism to you on the radio.
When you write a lousy piece like she does and doesn't have the facts to back it up, and you're doing it as a hit piece to take somebody down, you have to take some responsibility. The easiest thing to do is to say, oh, I can't handle it. I can't take the pressure, the trolls. In which way did I sick them on her?
I don't know.
She's not here. Shirley. She's not here. No. Answer the question.
I don't have any idea. I mean, why don't you call into the radio next Friday? Do you have any regrets from your years there? I mean, you mentioned the Kevin Cullen thing, Ron Borges. I mean, the one time
if you were me, would you regret Cullen?
The one time we have ever spoken before. That wasn't off the record. That phone conversation.
What's that?
When we talked on the phone, was that on the record? Or
no, I mean, you said some things that were surprisingly inappropriate.
No, but I'm serious about this for a second. No. One of the things I did say to you, and I think I'd said it on the radio, which is one of the reasons we spoke, that I thought there was a little dancing on grave kind of thing.
Yes.
Is that a fair criticism of you?
Yes. Do you think
Do you have any regrets about that?
Not with Borges, no, and certainly not with Cullen. Do you think that Cullen should still have a job?
I think that the Globe suspended him, which is probably the right decision.
Okay, even though he basically lied about marathon coverage and made up
No, but he
stories
took a
about
pretty
bombings.
serious hit. Would you not agree?
He's back.
I'm not commenting on the merits. I'm talking
I don't
about
know.
the glee that you
Yes,
don't think
yeah.
that's
Well, I
you
think-
think that's a little over the line?
Well, again, I mean, I get paid to dance around.
What are people going to get? We only have a couple of. What are we going to get on radio.com?
I think we're going to get a lot of Syrian talk. We're going to have Shirley on. I think it's going to be a lot of Globe correspondence. I think it's going to be really good. No, we're going to do what I do best. Radio.com. It's going to be great. And again, you want to come on? You and Shirley?
I'll make a decision a little later. Thank you, Kirk. It's
All
nice
right,
to
Jim,
meet
as
you.
always.
Thanks for your
Thanks,
time.
buddy.
I appreciate it. It's not as always. Never met
whatever.
before, but it's good to see you.